Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm back again with another Thunder Junction legendary creature from the main set that I think can be a good commander. And today it's Roxanne, Starfall Savant. 3 red and blue, no, definitely green, for a 4/3 cat druid. When it attacks, and when Roxanne enters the battlefield or attacks, you get a meteorite token, which basically says deal 2 damage to any target, and tap to add 1 mana of any colour. Very much like every other meteorite we've ever seen, including the main one that costs 5 mana. However, whenever you tap an artifact token for mana, you get to add an extra mana that token could produce. So basically, with Roxanne in play, your meteorite tokens that come into play with Roxanne, okay, they come into play tap, but it comes into play, as long as Roxanne's in play, that taps for 2 the next turn. Well, the next turn it's untapped anyway. Here's what we're doing today. Hope you like this one. Please, if you can, hit the subscribe button down below. Sitting at 368 at the moment. I'd love it if you come and follow me. If you can't, just hit the like button, leave me a comment, help me with the algorithm. I'd really appreciate it. But this is what today's deck looks like in the shape of Roxanne. Just a little reminder, because obviously these cards aren't available on MTGO yet, because we're nowhere near the release of the set online. We're just looking at it from this point of view using the wonderful MTG Goldfish. Not sponsored, not affiliated anyway whatsoever, but I just like uploading my decks there because it's easier for me to do being old. So here we go. Let's go through it. Obviously Roxanne's our commander. We know that. I'll leave Roxanne sitting here just in case. There's a couple of things we need to point out though. Dogside Extortioners. Yes, it's a red deck. Yes, it produces treasures, but they're treasure tokens, and this does become important. Same with Garly Greeters, treasure tokens +1/+1 counters. Prosperous Innkeeper gives a treasure and gains some life. Reckless Fireweaver is key in this deck. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. Now, there is another version of this card available in paper. It's not an MTGO yet. It's from the Battle for Baldur's Gate set, and I can't remember the name of it. If you can you put it in the comments down below? Because I'm sure at some stage it will get programmed in and I'll be able to add it to the deck. But there is another one that does, I think it's 3 mana. It does the same thing, but I can't remember what it's called at the moment. Anyway, moving on from there. Savant Steel Seeker is also here. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land, put it, reveal it, put it in your hand. If you don't, you can basically surveil 1. Yeah, that's pretty good with the amount of artifacts we'll be creating. We might as well filter through our deck as quickly as possible, get our lands out of the way to the things we need. Because we're going to be making treasure tokens, there's no point not having Academy Manufacture in here just for the clues and the food we get off the back of that. But the reason I'm very interested in the treasure tokens is Jaheira, Friend of the Forest. Tokens you control have tap, add green. With Roxanne in play, that's tap, add 2 green. Okay then. This explains why Jaheira's price has shot up recently on MTG. I think it's gone from about a 2 ticket rare to, well, as you can see here on screen, 20.36 tickets at the moment, and it's just going up. If you've got multiples on MTGO, you might want to go hold on to them and check the price regularly. But anyway, beside the point. Savala's here, creates obviously icy monolith tokens that double the artifact with Roxanne in play. Tireless Provisioner gives us food or treasure. Tireless Tracker gives us clues, which when we crack makes the Tireless Tracker bigger. And then kind of one of our win conditions, Anzarag the Quake Mole. We'll have enough mana to be able to do the 2 green, 2 red and 3 quite often, I hope. And yeah, let's have everything that can block. Well, the one thing that has to block blocks, and then we get an additional combat step. Yeah, okay, I'm quite happy with that. Acidic Slime just gives us a way of removing things that are annoying us that aren't creatures. That includes lands, don't forget, so artifact, enchantment or land. I've got red on the deck, as I've said several times in previous videos now. Bornhold, a Dracosaur is going to turn up in these things going forward if they're red. And also I've chucked in Emissary Green in this one. Not sure people really appreciate how good the clue commanders were. I've done most of it. I think I haven't done the black one and the blue one yet here on the channel, so you can go and find the red and the green and the white. But Emissary Green's quite good. Get through the voting thing. You either get treasure tokens or you get a whole load of +1/+1 counters on each creature you control. Yeah, kind of good to keep Emissary around if you can. The Goldspan Dragon gives us treasure tokens, which obviously we can tap and do the 2 mana thing with. Kadutha Forge Master is in here for no reason whatsoever now. Well, I say that, but he does have a purpose. Originally, when I built this deck, I was going down the whole line of Blightsteel Colossus and doing it that way. I changed the creature base, and then I realised that Kadutha Forge Master still had a home in the deck, but you'll see why in a minute when we get there. Seedborn Muse lets you untap everything, hence why I was talking about not worrying too much about the meteorites coming into play tap when Roxanne hits play. Terror of the Peaks is back. There is going to be a new version of this in the new set when it hits, but for now this is the old one from M21, which is sitting in this deck because, hey, why would you not want this in here when things happen? Wolfgar of Icewind Dale also makes an appearance because we do have creatures that are attacking trigger things off again. You know, Roxanne itself, so he gets double trigger Roxanne and get 2 extra meteorites. Ancient Copper Dragon deals combat damage for a player. It's not a, you know, where attack ability, it's got to deal combat damage, just so we're clear. Someone did query it the other day. More treasure tokens, hopefully, that we can then use Roxanne to tap for, you know, Jaheira, Friend of the Forest, so you know what it does. Atali is just a backup win condition. Go and nick everyone's top card and win that way. Kolga and Yidaro are either going to be shuffled back in to destroy an enchantment or artifact early on that's annoying us and then drawing a card, or we are going to be using it to go trample, haste, smack your face for 7. The original Kolga, however, works very nicely with Wolfgar because when we attack we get to destroy 2 artifacts or 2 enchantments, or an enchantment and an artifact, and the fighting ain't the worst thing in the world either. Sanarith Great Worm comes into play. We get a tap Power Stone token. This is semi-important. You know, we can use it to cast our Forge Master. We've got a couple of other things coming up we can use to cast it. I had to play the other version of Atali as well. If you're going to play one, you might as well play the other one at this moment in time. And yeah, hark back to the meteorite, to the Roxanne plates. You might as well create the Golem as well. Still a nice little target for Kadutha the Forge Master, however, bear that in mind. Gnawbone gives us a whole load of treasure tokens whenever a creature deals combat damage to a player. Cityscape Leveler, when you cast a spell and whenever it attacks, destroy up to 1 target non-land permanent. Again, another great trigger, Wolfgar. And finally, Cavern Horde Dragon. I forgot this card existed from Lord of the Rings, to be honest. With this deck, we'll probably be paying 2 mana for it more often than not, and getting a whole load of treasure tokens for each artifact someone controls when we get the attack in. We have a few spells to help us do all this. We've got Worldly Tutor to go and find a creature we need. Comet Storm is just a way to win the game. We can just sink our mana into it and just keep going with the multi-kicker side of things. So, you know, hey hum. Farseek just goes and finds us our lands, along same with Nature's Law, Rampant Growth 3, Visits Cultivate, and Kodoma's Reach. They're all here. Heroic Intervention is also in the deck to keep everything alive. We've then got Jessica's Will, because why would you not have this in the deck when you're playing red? Even if it's just for a little bit of mana, it will help with this deck in the end. Meteor Swarm, just because it had Meteor in the title. I'll be honest, I'm not even going to hide the fact that it's probably not that great a card, but you know, 4 mana to deal 8 damage to something that's annoying you, or you know, 5 mana to deal 4 to 2 things. Not the worst plan in the world. Chain Reaction is obviously better because it just counts how many creatures are on the board and deals that much damage to each of them. Second Harvest doubles up on our token production, which is just silly. And then Blasphemous Act, the traditional red. Oh look, there's 10 creatures in play. Okay, we'll cast this for 1 red mana and probably clear the board out. Yeah. Going down to the artifacts, and please bear in mind that we have still got the Forge Master in the deck when we get here, which is going to be useful for this bit. Elixir of Vigor is one of the cards we do want to try and get out early, because that means our meteorites that Roxanne produces when they enter play come into play untapped. It can be used instantly. Elixir of Immortality is here just to make sure we can shuffle everything back in when it gets destroyed. Then we've got the usual selection I now go with of Ramp, Sol Ring, Arcane Signet, Emerald Medallion, Fire Diamond. Gruul Signet's a little bit unusual, but I just wanted to play the Gruul Signet as well for a change. Moss Diamond and Ruby Medallion. They're all here. Then we have Stronic Resonator. Yeah. If I've read the rules right and I've got it right, I think I have. please. If I'm wrong, judge, tell me in the comments. When we attack, that's a triggered ability. We can copy the attack trigger and get extra meteorites. So yeah, bear that in mind. The boots is here to really protect Roxanne. You can go with the spurs from the new set if you want to, but hexproof's a little bit more important than having ward 1 in this thing, because we want to keep Roxanne around as long as possible, and hexproof makes that a lot easier than ward does. There's another bit for Amber Talisman of Impulse, which I missed, and then we've got the Rings of Bright Hearth. Whenever you play an activated ability, if it isn't a mana ability, you may pay 2 if you do copy that ability. Yeah, it makes sense in this deck with all the activated abilities we have. Helm of the Host is just stupid because we just copy Roxanne and get even more meteorites. Lithothorm Engine lets us copy our spells or copy our triggered and artifacts, target activated or triggered abilities. That's what I'm trying to get at. If push comes to shove, we can also cast a copy of target instant or sorcery spell you control. I have played one game in the past why I have copied Blasphemous Act because someone had an 18/18 worm in play, and that's the only way I could get rid of it. That was quite fun, but so bear that in mind. Lithothorm Engine is quite good. Obviously, we've got a lot of things that come into play, so having Panharmonicon in play makes a lot of sense. Likewise, Unwinding Clock, not a usual card for me, but I do want to be untapping my artifacts as much as possible. And yeah, this does it for me in each turn, which can really help. Obviously, we're going to have an artifact called Meteorite. We might as well have the real Meteorite in play, because you know, copying it with the engine is not the worst plan in the world. And then Mirrorworks. This is the reason we kept the Kildoltha in here, because we want to get this into play as soon as possible, so that when we cast things like Panharmonicon, Rings, Talisman, the Boots, etc, 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 we can pay 2 and have a copy of it. Having copies of your rocks like Fire Diamond and Gruul Signet and Moss Diamond, Arcane Signet, Soul Ring, is actually really quite good with Roxanne. Anyway, because that means we can cast all the big stuff up here quicker to win the game with. Land, couple of enchantments, parallel lives, doubling seasons, so we can make sure that the artifacts we get when we have the tokens come into play, we get more token copies. Works for me. And then we just have a whole load of red and green lands all the way through. 8 forests, 10 mountains. The reason we've got more mountains than forests is we've got Yathamar Cradle of Growth in here. We've also got Kessig Wolf Run in here for a change, just so we've got some way to punch through. I think at some stage we're going to have a lot of mana available, and we should be able to just hit someone once with this, with 2, attack with 2 creatures, and then give one of them trample and +X/+0, and win that way, is how I see the game working out a lot of the times. But that's it. That's my take on Roxanne for today's video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Like I say, as I've said before, I'm keeping my eye on the set as it releases. I know it's not all out yet, so a lot of these decks are going to be starter decks, so they're starting points for me. If anything good comes along, I might add it to, I will add it to the comments of this video and say, swap this in, swap this out. I've done it before, but I want to start getting these decks out there for people to think about it. If you think there's anything I've missed, because you're now subscribed to the channel and you've hit the like button, please leave me a comment down below. Tell me what else I should have included in the deck that you don't think that isn't here that you think should be here. I'll be really interested to know. But for now, take care. Thanks for watching. I'll be back soon with a new video. Bye.